Hey, what's up everyone and welcome to the Remake Review, the mini-series where I share my thoughts and feelings about 3 chapters at a time from the Final Fantasy VII Remake. This review will contain spoilers all the way throughout for the whole game and lore, so if you are yet to finish the game or it's a 1997 original, please click off the video and save it for when you've finished either or. With that being said, let's mosey. Despite its lack of gameplay and genuine lore regards, I really like Chapter 13. It's kind of like Chapter 12 in the fact that it focuses more on its lore than its gameplay. And what I mean by that is, of course, it doesn't tend to throw all this gameplay at you with all these battles. It wants you to focus on the lore, the world, the characters, all that stuff. This is where, like the last chapter, it really hits hard. But this is where it sinks in and you just enter that stage of utter sorrow, depression almost. It really makes you think, it makes you feel. It gives you all of these emotions all the way through, and the background music really does help to amplify that as well. All the characters are in this state of mind that they're trying to recover from, and it's almost impossible for them to do so after what's just happened. It is the pivotal moment of this game, not the final, not the finale or anything like that. This and the previous chapter is the game's pivotal scene, and I think every other installation of the FF7 remake should have a pivotal scene going forward, as it will help to magnify the effects of what's just gone on, and it will also help you connect with the world more. And I'm going to let this next scene play out as it really hits you in the feels.
Marlene! Biggs! Wedge! Jesse! God damn it! God damn you! God damn you all! Marlene!
It was us. We did this.
No, you can't think like that. Whatever came before it was Shinra that pulled the trigger today. Am I right?
Yeah.
Hold on to this anger, okay?
This is honestly some great shit, and it's just, it really does allow you to, you know, begin to soak everything up a little bit more than the last chapter may have already did. Like the last chapter already had me flooding in tears, but this just made it all come back once again. And whilst walking throughout the rest of this chapter, I couldn't really feel anything other than a sorrow, a depression almost. It was an extremely impactful thing. I've never ever been, you know, put into that state of mind from a video game before. And it's something I applaud the FF7 remake for, the emotions it puts to the player. It's genuinely fantastic. But the chapter continues. We have a pretty hilarious first encounter with Barrett and Elmira.
Where's Marlene? Is she here?
Barrett!
Our crew heads back to the destroyed Sector 7, which is where we help any remaining survivors get out, and the music played in the background is just fucking, it's ridiculous. Like, you'll first hear it and you'll think to yourself, this is cool, but then when you realise it's a rearrangement of Tifa's theme that's when it all starts to hit you even more, because Sector 7 was Tifa's home. It was the bar, which is what you're going to check on. You know, all of these things, they all come on, they piece together. It's amazing, and it's the track you can hear in the background right now. But we eventually find that Wedge isn't dead, but this is where the combat comes into play, where we find an underground Shinra lab, like a secret facility, which is where we play as Barrett solo, with Tifa by our side eventually, which is pretty fun, to be honest, but it's not as fun as when we play as Cloud, but it makes for an interesting second perspective. But it's short-lived anyway. But we go through this fight with these weird-looking experiments. They also look weird. They look cool, but they're weird. Yeah, we go through these pretty meh fights. You know, we're reunited with Cloud. We save Wedge. We have some realization talk with Barrett, with, you know, Jesse and Biggs returning to the planet, which is pretty fucking sad. But yeah, they head back to Elmira's place to set Wedge down, and the cast decides to venture forth. Chapter 14's beginnings is one of the best beginnings to any chapter in this game other than the first, simply because it is literally what we call character, and character is something this game already does fantastically, but seeing this heart-to-heart moment with Cloud and Tifa is what you'll probably encounter on your first playthrough. It's insane. It's literally insane. But other options include Barrett and Aerith, and while Aerith is pretty impactful as well, Barrett not so much. This one with the one with Tifa is usually the most impactful. I'm gonna let it play, and you'll see what I mean. It's honestly seriously emotional, and it is the epitome of character development.
Can't sleep?
No. You too?
I heard footsteps.
Sorry. Didn't mean to wake you.
I'm a light sleeper. It's a soldier thing.
That flower you gave me the other night, that was from Aerith, wasn't it? I knew there was something weird going on. You buying flowers? They symbolize reunion, believe it or not. I was curious, so I looked it up. I tried to keep it alive as long as I could. But now, it's dead and buried. Like the bar, our home, and everything else. They took everything from us. Again. Cloud.
Huh?
Cloud, you're hurting me. It's stupid. I know that crying's a waste of time.
That's not true.
Thank you.
The scene just leaves you saying, you know, wow, Cloud's becoming a decent human being. And, you know, seeing these two form a relationship throughout the course of the game, and then this happens, it's a heartwarming thing, especially to players of the original game. However, the rest of the chapter is not so great, because it is literally the definition of filler. Just like Chapter 3 and most, if not some of Chapter 8, this is a filler chapter because it consists of boring side missions and, you guessed it, information that isn't necessarily relevant to continuing the plot. Now, while it does expand upon Leslie of all people, and it gives him a pretty tragic backstory which does indeed make us feel some sympathy for this character, and it makes him more likeable. I certainly came out liking him. I came out liking him from the end of War Market. But anyways, we go to track down Corneo, and it's into with Leslie, which is where we find the slippery little glasses hiding. But we also have to chase this handsome short bird, which steals Leslie's locket, which has a memory of his wife, which is it's a shame because Corneo took Leslie's wife away for his own purposes, and she was never seen again. Corneo is just a fucking darling, not a nice man by any means. But we get that done with playing him, have an encounter where he almost kills Leslie, quite versa. So close, so far. But in the end, he escapes, and we have to fight Apps again. Yes, again. And there literally isn't that much different about this fight, apart from there's these little absolute minions that pop up. But the thing that I'm most confused about is why this Hopper just doesn't die, and also why we don't see any more of Corneo over this. Now, it makes some sense, I don't know, it feels irrelevant to me. But once we do this, Leslie gives us grappling guns, which we could have found pretty much anywhere, I'm guessing. I don't think they're this secret or anything like that, but we get grappling guns so we can get over a wall, which is when chapter 15 begins. Literally, all this chapter is side quests and a boring plot. That is literally it. And the sad thing is, it makes no difference on anything tackled later in the game, so it's a little bit of a waste of potential. Now, chapter 15 isn't widely considered amazing, just like the previous ones, but I love this chapter because it's cinema. This isn't a game, this is fucking cinema. Now, we're in a sunset, like this is a sunset, and we're in the obviously being destroyed sector 7, and we're basically scaling everything to get topside to enter Shinra HQ, which is a pretty neat concept because in the original we literally just climb a wall with a rope and a few propellers and whatever, but here we actually have a proper ascent, and the atmosphere is gorgeous. The realism of this is actually really cool as well. I actually like how they've added some realism to this. The tension of the Valkyrie drone stalking you throughout the entirety of this chapter as well is really nice, and it adds for some suspense as well. You get a few very, very funny comedic moments, such as this one.
What if it comes apart while we're up there?
And it's just, it just works. This chapter works on so many levels. And not to mention, even though there's only 5 pieces of music that plays in this chapter total, they are all incredible and are easily in the top 20 songs in this game. One of my personal favourites being the Valkyrie, which is the said villain. And I'll just allow some segments of it to play now. honestly an astounding track. It's not as good as the Airbuster or Scorpion Sentinel, but it's definitely in my top 3. But it's a really short chapter, I must say. It's got some long combat, but other than that, you'll beat the Valkyrie, and then that's it. Chapter's done. And we'll move on to the next chapter, which is chapter 16, if you can do maths. So yeah, it's a really short chapter, but it's just the plot, really, and the cinema that's provided from it. Not only do we get these amazing shots with some amazing build-up and amazing lore and tension and music, and also development as well as character moments. It's a fantastic chapter. There's just not a lot to do in terms of exploring. It's literally just point A to point B, running a few battles, etc., things like that. But I don't mind it. A lot of people will give it slack, but me, I love this chapter. I think it's great. I like what it does, and it just flows really nicely. To conclude, these set of chapters weren't the best, to say the least. I mean, some of them were okay, but others were not so okay. But here's the catch though. Those that are good are really fucking good. So we start, like I said, when I was talking about chapter 13. I love the chapter. I think it's great. I love the heavy focus on plot rather than gameplay. Chapter 14, not so much, because it tries to do too much of both, and it ends up failing with boring plot, so it's not that great. And chapter 15 is phenomenal. The music provided, the cinematic feel to it, the expanded plot, I'll say, is also great. I like how it focuses more on making you feel the moment rather than having to just battle your way through it. I think that's nice. It just, in my opinion, it just works a lot better. But obviously, people will disagree with that, and you can be free to disagree with that. It's my opinion. The remake review is my opinion. If you want to agree with it, then that's fine by me. But if you don't, that's also fine by me. You do you, and I'll do me, and we won't do each other. That sounded wrong. Anyways, yeah. So that's basically it. So if I had to give each chapter a rating, chapter 13 would get an 8 out of 10 for its, like I'd mentioned before, for its lore, its impact, its music, and also just how it makes the player feel. But it is unfortunately ruined by some pretty shitty gameplay. Chapter 14 would get a 6. It's just not very interesting, but when it is interesting, it is pretty interesting, if that makes sense. The lore is nice, the characters are nice, but the overall gameplay and feel is just so boring and lazy and padded. Chapter 15 would get a 9. Yes, that's a very surprising rating, I know. But I love Chapter 15. Like I mentioned before, it's cinema, it makes you feel the weight, you feel like you're there, the characters are great, the locations are great, everything's great. Chapter 15 is brilliant. The only thing that could have made it better is some improved gameplay, pretty much, to make it the perfect blend of cinema and game, rather than just cinema. If that makes any sense at all. I'm not making much sense here, I know, but allow it. Anyways, that's it from me today. Thank you all for watching episode 5 of the Remake Review, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care and peace.